A long time ago, there was a very fast runner. He could outrun anyone in his village and even some of the neighboring villages. He would always tell everyone that his secret to being so fast wasn't his strong legs, but rather his strong heart. Of course, everyone thought he was just trying to be mysterious and different, but they didn't believe him. One day, this young man had an accident and lost his leg. When he went to see the doctor told him that he would never be able to run again. This news devastated him. How could he tell everyone that his strength didn't come from his legs, but from his heart, when he wasn't even able to stand on his one remaining leg? At first, he spent his days sitting by the window, looking at the children playing outside, wishing that he could still run and play like them. But as the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, he started feeling angry. Angry at himself for feeling sorry for losing his leg, angry at the people who pitied him, and most of all, angry at the doctor for telling him that he would never run again. He decided to buy a fake leg and train every day to become a runner again. At first, he couldn't even stand for very long without falling over. But he didn't care. Even if it meant falling countless times, he was going to prove to himself that he could still run. And after a few months of training, he could run. He still wasn't very good at it, but he could run. Many years passed, and the man continued to train, determined to become faster and stronger than before. Many people from the village saw him running and asked him why he did it, since he knew that he couldn't win any races. He would always respond, "I don't do it to win, but to show everyone that true strength doesn't come from your legs, but from your heart." Of course, people thought he was crazy, and no one understood why he refused to stop, except for his old mother. She knew that her son was doing it to prove to himself that he didn't need legs to run. Finally, the day arrived where he would show everyone what he had been training for all those years. The annual village marathon was about to begin, and he had asked the organizers to let him participate. Of course, everyone laughed at the idea of a one-legged man trying to run a marathon, but they accepted his request. When the race began, all the other runners took off as fast as they could, leaving our runner far behind. He didn't care. He had already expected that. As he started to run, he could feel his heart beating inside his chest, and he gave him the strength to keep going. Although he was only halfway through the course, he was sure that he would finish the marathon no matter how long it took him. The people watching the race started to get bored of seeing a man on crutches slowly moving forward, and they started to leave. But then some people started to notice that he wasn't using crutches at all. He was actually running. They didn't understand how, but he was indeed running. As he got closer to the finish line, more and more people gathered to see the amazing sight of a man without a leg running to cross the finish line. When he finally arrived, almost everyone from the village was there, cheering him on. He didn't win the marathon, but in his mind, he had won much more. He had won against the doctor's expectations, against the people who pitied him, and most of all, he had won against himself. He wanted to show everyone that true strength doesn't come from your legs, but from your heart. This is a story about a one-legged man who ran a marathon, but it's also a story about all of us. No matter what leg we were born with or how many legs we have, what matters is that we keep moving forward in life. Sometimes it may seem impossible to go on, but we must never give up, because true strength doesn't come from our physical abilities, but from our hearts. It comes from our will to never give up.